Hello and welcome to episode 151 of the Boot Nerds podcast. Is that right?
151, that's right, yeah.
All right.
Last of the year. Well, I'm good, thanks. It's 2022 is closing. It's been one hell of a year, man. What a year in the football boot world, but also just in football. I mean, we ended off our wish for the World Cup didn't come true, but I was mad when Argentina won it, but I ended up not being that mad when I saw Messi with the trophy, and it just all kind of like it all came together, right? It was it was okay. It was good that it happened. It was, football had been waiting for that moment, and especially when you saw that photo of him on the shoulders of Kun Agüero, and you compared it to '86 Maradona, more or less the same photo. It was just beautiful. And it was good that it happened to at least one of them, the two GOATs. So
yeah, and what an unbelievable game for a final.
I don't think we'll ever see a better final in our lifetime, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either.
It was breathtaking stuff. Didn't really appreciate Emiliano Martinez in the final, his antics, but I mean, he won the Golden Glove and won the World Cup, so does he care? Probably not.
No.
Some bald bloke from Denmark didn't like his... Nah. But yeah, how are things in Canada?
Just cold, the usual.
Okay.
Nothing noteworthy to report.
Just cold, man. Fair enough. But guys, anyways, we are ending off the year in typical style, typical fashion, by announcing our top 5 best football boots released in 2022. It's gonna be a good one. It has been a list. If you've seen the Unisport video, I also said it there. It's been a really hard list to make, because there's been so many good boots out over the year, right? Limited editions. Some of them have been truly amazing. Some of them have been really awful. But most of them have been relatively good. Some of them outstanding. We had 10 new main silo updates. So basically, to more or less everything out there has been updated except for the Copa. And yeah, it's been wild. It has been wild. But before we jump into it, do you want to recap the year just quickly? Or should we just go over the rules and then you just jump into it?
I think we just go over the rules, because how do you recap a year of 7,000 boot releases? Yeah,
that's true. That's true. It's been wild, man. It's been wild. It's just, rules. Okay, so the rules are very simple. Basically, we have boots on the list that have released this year. So basically, the generations that have released this year. We, of course, also saw some of the older Mercurials, the 14 and the 8, that released in older colorways earlier this year. But it's going to be only new generations that have dropped this year that we can have on the list, right? That also means that older boots that are still on the market, for instance, the Neo 3 Beta Japans, are not eligible to go on the list.
Sure.
Because otherwise they would still be in number 1 and it would be boring. And it would just be like the eternal number 1. And, I don't know if that's the case for you anymore, but...
No, I don't think I'd have them at number 1, but I get what you're saying. We're keeping it exclusive to boots that came out this year, and we're also including limited edition releases.
Yes. And that might be a little bit of a change from previous years, but that's because there was particularly one limited edition that we both felt it had to be in there.
Really good.
So yeah. Let's get to it.
Yeah, and also, I think, unlike every other year, we actually have the same list.
Yes, which is
rare that we agree on everything, but I feel pretty strongly that this is a legit top 5.
Yes, but it has to be, for once we have the final top 5. The final answer to the top 5. The first one that we should mention is the Furon V7. And, I mean, the Furons have been relatively good, at least the previous 2 generations I've also enjoyed. But I think I just enjoyed this one a little bit better. And I think they just made it that little bit better. Spectacularly comfortable football boot, but also feels like a speed boot. It has this tight fit, the snug fit, that streamlined sensation around your foot, but in this sock, like very comfortable way where it stretches, molds around your foot, and just feels like it's adapting to you instead of you just like living with however the boot is shaped. And that's a really, really great feature.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about products in the speed category, Furon V7.
Yes. Yeah.
So many generations.
Us and numbers, man.
Yeah. V7 Pro is pretty much like it's everything you could ever want from a pair of speed boots. Super thin upper, barefoot touch, but also remarkably comfortable considering how thin it is. I think it's unique little trick, if you want to call it, with the off-centered lacing system and giving you that really clean striking surface. Really sets it apart from other speed boot options and arguably just other boots in general. Remarkably comfortable for what it is, available in regular and wide fit, which no other brand offers. And I think something that's really, like, that's an awesome option in the speed category for somebody that does have a wider foot. And I think the sole plate tooling and stud pattern is really good. Not to mention it is, I believe, the lightest speed boot on the market right now.
Yes, it is.
And at a price that is significantly less than the more popular options from Nike and Adi.
Yes.
So like
225 euros at least, which is just great. And I mean, it has shades of the Vapor 13 in terms of that, soft, comfortable knit experience. And I just keep thinking whenever I wear that it's funny that they also do a wide version, because it is for me at least, it is on the wider side, the more accommodating side for wide feet, I would say, even the regular one. But just a great football boot. And as you said, the tooling is just, it's super snappy. The studs are great. They just remind me of those old school fully chevron bladed Mercurial stud patterns. So, yeah, lots of praise for this.
If there was ever a time where you really wanted to stray away from the big three, Furon V7 Pro is the time to do it.
And I think it should be more popular given the price and the quality of this. I don't understand why there aren't more of these around. We don't see more of these on pitches.
Yeah, and here's the thing: we talk about the price at retail, €225, 215 USD is what they're going for in the regular colorways. But you don't have to pay that. It's not a popular football boot. Older colorways go on sale. You can get these for well under $200. Like for that, it's so hard to beat.
It's a steal. I agree. Yeah. Absolute steal. So yeah, there's that. We also have to mention the Phantom GX, which I think definitely deserves a place because of how good it is, but B, also because of how unique it is. It really stands out to me as a football boot that does something I can't remember seeing on a boot before. The way it feels, that stickiness on the upper.
Yeah. I don't know that. I think it's unique in the current market for what it offers, and I suppose it's unique in regards to what Nike has offered in the past. But as a concept, it's really nothing new. It's a lot of Nike recycling what we saw in Phantom Vision, but executed in a very refined way. Compared to Phantom GT that it replaces, I think it's a gigantic step forward.
Oh, absolutely. And you're right in the sense that there are parallels to be drawn to the Phantom Vision and on the low cut to the Phantom Venom. And somehow it feels like what those two boots maybe should have been, what Nike actually envisioned them to be back when they did them, but they just didn't have, they hadn't cultivated or refined the technology from the Flyknit also, this technology with coating the individual yarns and mixing them with high tenacity yarns to make this really wonderfully sticky, but also really well balanced grip on the upper. Very unique. Definitely not the grippiest boot on the market. That still remains the Predator Edge, but this is actually, I actually want to wear this. So that's a big step
but this, I think where this definitely beats the Predator Edge in terms of grip provided is also in the comfort and flexibility of that upper. It feels like a sock. It's a knitted upper that feels like a knitted upper which you definitely don't get from the Predator Edge. I don't think just because of the rubber elements, but there's a few different factors there. But they did a good job of incorporating the grip element as a part of the material rather than something that is kind of sitting on the surface of the upper, which is historically how we've seen grip elements kind of implemented.
Exactly. So very interesting, and also interesting to see, this is the first iteration of the GX. Where do they go with the grip knit from here? Funnily enough, there is no ACC for the first time in like forever on a pair of Nike boots, because the grip knit in itself is water repellent, so it doesn't need ACC anymore. So now you can actually, with peace in mind, say that there is no ACC, and yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna joke about on the SFOU channel?
I still think it's probably the wrong decision to not incorporate ACC. I just feel like it's such a useful technology, and people are going to be upset. However, I do think that you're right. The grip provided there, it's legit. You can feel it, and you can actually kind of see it as well in person.
Yeah.
I think to me the surprising. I don't want to say surprising, because I think Nike's fully capable of making a great knitted football boot. I don't know if you can credit them for inventing the idea, the concept, but they've certainly popularized it. So again, not a surprise that they've made a good knitted football boot here. I was surprised, however, and granted, custom football boots for pro players is definitely a thing. So it's not like they're getting off the shelf pairs, but seeing so many players switch to it during the knockout stages of the World Cup, I thought was, and it goes to show how good the step in comfort is at the very least.
And we shouldn't underestimate how superstitious these pros are around their boots. It's getting them into a new pair with no familiarization. Basically, okay, we saw them on pitch a couple of days before they dropped, but that was it really.
Yeah,
I think it really goes to show how remarkable this upper is. And for that reason alone, I think because of grip knit, the way these fit, that freedom that they offer you when you wear them, there are no pressure points, no nothing. I think that's remarkable. But I think what's also interesting is that more or less all the pros that I saw had custom toolings or their own toolings, which is probably due to this, that you can just like...
Yeah, and see, you're not a fan of the flexibility of that sole plate.
No.
Which I don't mind. Like, to me, I almost view that as a positive thing. I like the freedom that boot seems to offer in terms of like just not being overly stiff. Because I feel like that's super stiff sole plates is kind of becoming a trend in the industry with this promise of responsiveness and spring back, and there's something to that for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of like that it's not as mercurially as what the Phantom line has been for the last little bit.
I totally get that. Get that. I just went back and compared it to the OG Hypervenoms, which was actually also had a super stiff midfoot, at least compared to this. And it just, obviously the forefoot was relatively flexible, but this really made crystal clear to me that I prefer my boots to be a little stiffer under the midfoot, to have that structure, to have that solidity. And I think, to me at least, that's the reason why I didn't enjoy these enough to put them higher on the list, right up there, ringing in a number one. And I think some people might, if you like that freedom of movement. I just need a bit more support. For my movements. It feels a little bit, weak whenever I push off, and there's nothing there. So yeah, it's a little bit like running in sand for me.
Okay.
I want my pushback. I want my spring back, But
sure.
But that's a personal preference, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you've had the chance to try it out there, what would you think of the tooling and the stiffness or lack of stiffness of the tooling in on the GX? Comments below. But it has to be there, absolutely. And I think we've talked about before that, this was the boot to kind of, it's not necessarily going to save the Phantom altogether, but if this couldn't get the Phantom back on track, nothing could. And I think it started really well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the response has been positive.
Absolutely. Then we also have a boot that we basically changed the entire rule set for. This bad boy.
Yeah.
So
Really good.
The F50 adizero remake leather battle pack, just phenomenal, really. Absolutely phenomenal. Just such a lovely fit, has the right shape of the F50. The midfoot is lovely. The heel is really, really good. Just has that right fit where it just feels good and supportive, but also very comfortable and as if, there's certain types of heels where one, again, where you squeeze into it, you kind of live within. And then there's the really well-fitting heels where you just feel like, okay, I can trust the boot. The boot has experience almost. It's like it's made with skill. It's made by people who know how to make a good, comfortable heel. And that, letting go and just enjoying is when a boot for me truly steps up into that next level.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a simple recipe, like leather forefoot, synthetic leather midfoot, some suede, stitch and turn, speed flow tooling, boom.
Yeah, that is a prime example of like how good a simple football boot can be. And again, it's disappointing how much better that is than current Speed Portal offerings, in my opinion, at least. If they put that out there, I think that just once people get the chance to try it on and realize it's available, wow, that thing would sell.
And this is the only like downside for me is that it was too limited. Like it's simply too limited. I mean, people should have the opportunity to try the genius of this boot. Because, I might be going out on a limb here, but I would probably rather wear this than an X Speedflow 0.1. And I know it sounds wild because that is a great football boot, but
sure.
Where you at?
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm a leather boot guy. And this to me is like, it's a nice hybrid of giving you that speed boot feel that you want, especially with that speed flow tooling in there. But the feel of that leather upper, even the synthetic they use through the midfoot, the refreshingly simple central lacing system and standalone tongue. Yeah. It still amazes me every time we get a boot like that, how good that feels. And how so many brands just disregard all of it for the sake of a one-piece upper, which I realize gives the boot a certain aesthetic. I think if you stand this in a lineup with all the other boots on this list, it by far looks the chunkiest.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about the adjustability and fit that you achieve with like a standard U-throat construction.
Yeah, and we've just talked about this before, right? How much the actual fit matters. We talked about it with the Alpha, that you can have all the innovation in the world. You can have all the performance gimmicks or whatever you want to call them, all that new technology. But if you nail a good old-fashioned U-throat boot, leather forefoot, solid stable midfoot, nice heel, it's hard to beat, right? It's so hard to beat. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, how good these feel. They might not look as cool as that, the more like a sock-like fit on the Furons, but I reckon they feel better on foot because you just have that adjustability and they feel right. It's love on your feet, right? It's truly special. I love these boots. Yeah, amazing.
They're honestly excellent boots. The best. Yeah, I guess it's safe to say the best thing out of Adidas all year. And I think it is. I would be comfortable in interchanging that with like the Gold Zidane Absolute remakes. I love those.
Yeah.
But in terms of like mainstream, what I think people would really enjoy and what still kind of fits into the modern football boot category, definitely this Battle Pack remake. But it's hard to call this a remake because it's not really a true... No. We never got one quite like this back in 2014.
No. And it just feels like they just took the design and were like, okay, we messed up the leather boot back then. How do we actually set things right? And boy, did they set things right. Wow. Yeah, just wow. I just want this in like just imagine this in like that old school Samba colorway, the Samba blue with the white stripes. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So basically Adidas, if you want to make some easy money, 2023, just give us 2-3 different colorways of this, and you're gonna sell out in an instant, and we'll take 10%.
So they've done.
Being nice.
Here's my thought, Jay. They've done Speed Flow. They're now on Speed Portal, which is kind of like all about the future.
Sure.
I think the next one needs to be the Speed Past.
The Speed Past. Wow.
Speed Past. Make that the Speed Past .1, and I think you have a winner.
Wow. The speed, and that could be like, you make the Predator Legacy boot. That's just like a regular inline thing, and then you make the Speed Past, and everyone's happy.
We'll take 10%.
That's such a good idea that we're going to bump it up to 15%, and we're being nice here. That is the one true solution here. One boot we also have to mention is probably, money aside, my favorite boot of the year. Easy.
Okay.
Mizuno Alpha, made in Japan, obviously. I haven't tried the Elite version yet. I've heard it's pretty good, but I don't know, because I've only tried the Japan.
I haven't tried it yet either. So.
You haven't tried it yet at all?
No, I've tried Alpha.
That's true, yeah. Yeah,
I have Alpha.
I saw the video. I mean, good morning. But yeah, I absolutely love this. And obviously, it's also because the fit is just right for me. It's just like, I've talked about it before. Probably mentioned it a few hundred times already in the podcast over the last couple of episodes, but it just fits me so well. And it is also on the more traditional side of building speed boots, but they've done it so well that it actually works. And the only problem for me in this, and we've talked about it to death already, but that's the price. I mean, if this was, I'm not going to say fairly priced, because it is what it is and people are still buying it, but if this was at a lower price, I think it would be accessible to more people, and it would get more out there, and I think it deserves to, because it's truly a brilliant boot. But I can't go out and say that this is like value for money wise the best boot of the year, because I don't think it is. It's simply too expensive for that. But money aside, yes, for me, the top performer. What do you say to the album? How do you like that statement?
No, I don't like your statement at all.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it's just objectively incorrect to call it the top performer. I think it's objectively, well, you can't say objectively. It's subjectively the most comfortable speed boot on the market, because I think comfort again is so dependent on the shape of your foot and what you like the feel of. Some people like how a Mercurial squeezes their foot. Some people like the crampiness of a stiff upper from a Speed Portal. That's just how it is. I think what they nailed on the it's a little diss. I think what they nailed on the Alpha is the shaping of it. The Morelia Neo shape, the last that it's built on, just works well in a full synthetic upper. The synthetic that they have there, I think, feels awesome on foot. The adjustability from the central lacing system in U-throat, I think, makes a big deal.
Yeah.
We have been able to justify made in Japan Mizuno for a very long time because of the quality, and the quality of both build quality leather, and quality of leather.
Yeah.
And I think what was interesting for me is when I first saw them, all I could think was, how are these going to justify the price tag without the leather? But I really do think that they stand out as being incredibly well made compared to every other speed boot. Just even the stitching around the heel area where the upper attaches to the liner, really impressive how they put it together.
Yeah.
I love the heel liner. I love the insole. It's almost like the Nike grip knit material inside of the boot.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly that, which works great.
Yeah.
The tooling is awesome. I think there was a little bit too much recycling of Morelia Neo in the tooling. I'll be honest with you. I would have liked to see them do something maybe a little more extreme than they did, but ultimately it's good. I think objectively, when you're talking about tech features that can potentially improve performance or at least change the experience of the football boot, these offer a great experience, but I don't think it's to a level of Air Zoom in a Mercurial or even Carbitex in a Speed Portal. I think it's a very, very well-rounded product, and it's difficult to criticize for that reason. But when you're talking about like top technologies in the football boot industry, I still think it's maybe a little bit lacking. It doesn't have one wow standout feature. The wow factor is how it feels when you put it on.
And this is that's a fair point, and that's why I say it's the top performer for me, because it feels so good. And you know that whenever a boot hits the right shape, the right fit, that's when it really starts to perform for me. Obviously, you know, when all the other elements are there, the upper is nice, moves nice with the foot, and you know, the touch feels good on the ball. It has the right amount of stickiness, tactility to it, right? The tooling is responsive, blah blah blah, all that stuff. You know what we're talking about. But it's that, you know, when the fit is just right, that's when it's elevated to being a top performer for me. But I agree that in terms of like material, choice of material, you're cool. It has Carvo in it. Great. But I mean, it could have had more, right? We've also seen Carvo on the Neos. I mean, it's not a new thing. It's all over the Japanese market, right? But so I agree with you. It's definitely not, in terms of the materials, it's not innovative, so to speak. But I think where it just hits the nail on the head is that it brings everything together in a package that just becomes more than the sum of its parts, and I really like that.
Yeah.
But hey, fair enough.
Yeah, no, look, it's an amazing football boot, and I totally, I forget what I said in my review now, but I think given the choice, given the choice between Alpha and any other speed boot, I'd probably end up wearing an Alpha just based on comfort and fit alone.
Yeah,
and I like that, and I think where this is a win for Mizuno, outside of the price that I think is simply too high, is that it's still, despite not having leather, which has kind of become Mizuno's signature, it still feels so Mizuno.
And you know, it taps into everything that Adidas did so right with the old school F50s. And it just does it in a package that fits like a Mizuno boot should. So it's very, very good, but the price is unacceptable. So, you know, yeah, no.
It's justified if you're a big Mizuno fan and you're just looking for the most comfortable thin speed boot out there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think you're probably going to be happier spending less money on something else.
Or probably going for the elites. I've heard the elites are very good. That's what I've been reading.
That's what
but
I've heard quite a few times as well.
Yeah. If you know, I don't know if they're still 200 euros, but the Neo elites are 200 euros and also very good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What you can also do is you can go and get a Mercurial. I know we've mentioned it already, but of course it has to be on the list. And for me, it has to top the list because, yeah, it's the easy choice. You know, whenever a new Mercurial comes out, it's always top of the list. Cool. I mean, you can close your eyes but it works. It's definitely different than the Superfly 8 and the Vapor 14, and also compared to the 7 and the 13, right? But I still think that they've just latched onto a winning formula because they have this. The shape of the boot is interesting. It's a little bit more generally appealing than I feel it was last year, but still has that snug speed boot like Mercurial-ish fit. So it's a nice hybrid between appealing to slightly more people, giving you a speed boot feel and still being comfortable. And of course, Zoom Air just takes the cake as being the innovation of the year, really.
Yeah.
The implementation of technology of the year, I think you could say that.
Yeah. I think what's so impressive about this year's Merc is that Zoom tech, as much as Zoom is not a new technology at all. We saw it in Mercurials 21 years ago now.
Yep.
21, right?
Yep.
21 years ago, this was something that Nike was putting in their boots. And we've seen Zoom units implemented throughout the years on Tiempo, on T90. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Other than that first Mercurial there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rio.
And it was never really
GX.
something that was talked about.
Yeah.
But I think what's so great about this implementation is they managed to put it in. They managed to make it very noticeable from a feel perspective. I'm still hesitant and reluctant to say that it improves responsiveness and performance anyway. But I think what it does for comfort is undeniable. And they did all this while making the boot significantly lighter than last year, which is impressive.
Yeah. I guess air is light. But I agree. And it's this, again, it offers something unique to the Mercurial that, yes, you can go out and you can get another speed boot if you want. Like, it is just such a hard field. It's just a hard market, that speed boot market, right? you could arguably go and get, if you had the old Mercurials, you could say, well, get a Furon. Get an Ultra. The Ultras aren't bad either. I know you hate them, but I still like them. I think they're solid speed boots. There's the Alpha. Basically every other speed boot than the X Speed Flow. Portal. Could rival the old Mercurials. I think as pure speed boots, and I think this is where they've taken a brilliant step in differentiating the Mercurials to the extent where it's still a speed boot, but it also adds just a little bit more. It adds this uniqueness that I think we're looking for, and it's a nice boot to wear. And I think I said in my Unisport video that it was euro for euro, dollar for dollar better than the Alphas. So I think for that reason alone, it should be top spot.
Yeah,
for me.
I think from an experience standpoint, I just think that the Mercurial is the boot of the year. Regardless of whether or not it's your style of football boot, and realistically, it's not my style. It's the reason why Alpha's not my style, but I think it wins so many points just for being so comfortable and fitting so well.
Sure.
Mercurial is a much tighter fit for me. It's just a more structured upper. It has a stiffer feel, but there is no denying that when you wear these current Mercurials, you just feel fast.
Yeah. And you won't forget them, right? It's a memorable experience to step into them. And I think that's what they've done right. And again, they've just made them so accessible to everyone. It's just literally plug and play. Just put them on and you're good to go. And they're lovely, right? So
and I don't want to give credit to Nike for saving consumers money.
I thought you were just didn't want to give credit to Nike.
No, but I think in an age when we're seeing so much in the way of price increase, I know it's a small thing, but I'm still going to harp on it because I think it's ridiculous that Speed Portal Plus is now $280 versus $275 compared to Speed Flow Plus that it replaced. Like a $5 increase is so ridiculous to me, and I think I just think Nike not doing that it's a good thing to see, considering that almost everything about that Mercurial has been changed from the previous generation. Yeah. New tooling, the implementation and development of that zoom unit that's specific to the Mercurial. The uppers construction is completely different. Probably other than the laces, everything has changed. Yeah. New insole tooling as well. Like they put in about as much expense as you can possibly have in a pair of football boots and did not pass that on to the consumer, which I think is nice to see.
This is what Mizuno failed to do, at least in Europe. Because I mean, it's not as expensive in Japan, which is oh man.
And again, I mean,
we've been there so many times. Let's not
compare Nike to other brands, but if we compare them to Adidas, whatever replaces Speed Portal will definitely have Speed Portal sole plate tooling. I almost guarantee it.
Most likely, yeah.
And Nike does new tooling every year on the Mercurial. Yes. Like that's a significant expense that a lot of people don't realize.
Expensive, yeah. It would make sense, at least following the cycle for Adi to have the Speed Portal tooling on whatever comes next. Would make sense. Because molds are expensive to do.
Molds are expensive, and they save. I hate seeing second generations going up in price when they're able to recycle sole plate tooling, because that in itself saves so much money.
Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool.
And look, I understand that the football boot industry is a business and everyone's trying to make money, and they spend a significant in development and marketing and paying all these players to wear their boots, but
when you actually have aggressive pricing, look at Puma. You might say about them what you want about their current lineup, but I think they've done extremely well since they introduced that €200 price point. I think it just goes to show that it builds loyalty with the consumer, that they actually show, okay, cool, we have all this new stuff, but the price stays the same or it still stays low, right? I think there's a point to be made there that especially Mizuno should take note of and say, cool, you might have your wicked build by hand leather boots. Fair enough, we get that. But when you have a boot that's not leather and actually costs half in one market, well, just it's your own fault.
Yeah, and I think that's a key word you just said there, Jay. In one market.
Yeah.
Right? Because apparently, I don't know, because it's kind of hard to go on a Japanese retailer and buy the boots because
Oh yeah.
very,
you can
it's
check
very
the pricing.
difficult to navigate.
You can check the pricing. Google Translate is your friend.
There's apparently a hometown discount on this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And that's great if you live there.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about shipping and import duties and taxes, it's not really less expensive to order it from there. I just think that like if Mizuno's goal, if their end goal is to grow the football boot division of their company globally, the prices need to come down. It's just, it has to.
Yeah. But again, I think we've discussed this to length every single episode of the last 5 Boot Nerds podcasts. But yeah. So the list, it's official. New Balance Furon, Nike Phantom GX, Adidas a 50 adizero leather remake from the Battle Pack, Mizuno Alpha Japan, Nike Mercurial Superfly 9 or Vapor 15, whatever you prefer. But there's one more boot that we need to mention that I feel also deserves a special shout out, and that is the cheapest boot on the list. But value for money wise, perhaps the best of the year. The New Balance 442 V2s. Oh my
amazing
God. Oh my God. So when that gold, bronze, copper, whatever colorway came out in the beginning, I was like, didn't really like the first 442. So I was just like, okay, pass. They look cool, but I'm not going to bother. And then I got the black ones. And I've been looking for those gold ones everywhere. Because I love that boot. It is spectacular and is 140 euros. If you haven't tried it and just wanted like a cheap, reliable football boot that fits extremely well and just performs, 442 is the way to go. Like for me, it's worth paying that little bit extra compared to the Nike Premier, for instance. It's just
I think so too.
much better. Yeah. So
I think the 442 is a great option if you are trying, if you've never worn leather boots before and you want to dip your toe in the leather football boot water, but you don't want to break the bank. And again, it's a New Balance boot. They're not necessarily super popular. You can probably find them on sale.
Yeah.
And for, let's say, $100 or less, get yourself in a pair of 442 V2 Pros. That is a very tough value for money proposition to beat. And forget about the quality of the leather that you're getting at that price. Forget about the comfort, the option of regular and wide fit once again, which I think is awesome. Yeah. But I think that sole plate tooling, it's certainly nothing groundbreaking, but it's something that if it was featured on a top end boot,
it works. It works.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
No.
And it falls into a weight range that is actually lighter than some speed boots right now. It's a very well-rounded product for what it costs.
It is. And you know, if you can get your hands on that gold one, just nah. Any other boots you want to mention? Obviously the gold Zidane Absolutes.
I'm a big fan of those.
Yeah, I also really enjoyed the, obviously, I thought the Phantom Ultras were that was a cool launch. Also the Montebelluna Legends. But the only downside for me was that they just, after you've used them, especially on a wet pitch, they just don't look great. So
the Legends I wasn't as impressed with. I think the Flyknit Ultra remake is a huge shout, and honestly, like,
it's a good boot. It's a really good boot. Yeah.
It's one that when I was going back and looking at stuff, I somehow skipped over, and I probably would have put it on my list, to be honest with you. It's an awesome product. It's a shame that Nike didn't make more of those. Yeah, just like the first Flyknit Ultra.
Yes. What about the Air Zoom Ultra? I mean, not going to be on my list, but I think it was a fun, slightly forgotten hype drop.
Air Zoom Ultra, cool concept, cool underfoot feel.
Yeah,
but ultimately pretty uncomfortable and really not like. That's not a football boot that after wearing them, I thought, wow, I can't wait to wear these again.
No, and I think, it was nice to experience that full-length Zoom Air bag, but then the Mercs dropped, and it was just like, they were just better. So yeah. And then obviously a lot of the Unisport Puma collaborations that we saw.
Yes.
I mean, we made 4. So yeah, they, of course, shout out to all of those.
Those were all great. I also think that regular synthetic battle pack F50 remake was good.
It was. Yeah, it was kind of overshadowed by the leather one, but yeah, truly a great football boot. I've worn that to bits as well. They are still in my my match day bag actually. So yeah, just checking. Yeah, no, not on the shelf. Yeah, still my match day bag. Very good. So that was the unofficial, but it was just the official list. The official list of 2022 best boots, best new boots to come out. There you go.
Oh, you know what? Before we end it, quick shout again, New Balance Tequila.
Yeah.
I think that's
solid.
Great. As far as laceless boots go, really impressed with it.
Arguably the strongest lineup across the board from all the brands, you know, when you look at all
New Balance had, if there's a brand of the year, in my opinion, it's New
I
Balance.
agree. Easy. That's an easy win for me. But what's also an easy win is to go through the questions because everyone gets happy. Team Geist asks, what running shoes do you use for off-field training? And I use the Vaporflies, the next percent. They're great.
Okay. I will not lie. I don't do a lot of running. I just hate it. I will run to play sports. Okay. I will not run on my own.
Fair enough.
It's not my cup of tea.
Well, don't enjoy it either, but it has to be done.
I'm a month away from 30 and my body just does not, I'm done. I'm done with, I'm done trying to run a long distance in a short amount of time. It's not for me.
Just wait. 5 more years, you know. If you feel, if you're feeling your body now, just wait 5 more years.
But when it comes to training, I would say for the last, I used to be one of those guys that was always swapping out different trainers, but for the last year or so, I've been pretty consistently a Nike Metcon guy.
Oh, okay.
And I have a few different versions that I kind of rotate through.
See, that's the thing I should be doing more of, but I just don't. Working out. I mean, you can tell, right? But yeah. So now you have a perspective from both sides of training. Foot boot. Could you do a podcast where people send you their football boot collections, about 10 plus pairs, and you rate them? I realize that not all of your viewers have a collection, but some have, including myself. And I would be happy if you would rate my collection, given that football boots are a thing I love the most. Because the two of you, well, thank you very much. Definitely a concept we could work with in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be cool, actually.
Yeah, I love these things where we interact with you and we rate your stuff. And obviously, not everyone will be happy. But yeah, I saw this TikTok. PWG sent it to me that it was one of the guys we rated last time. Was it Brian Lim? I think it was who actually said casual or normal Josh win, rare JL, and someone said in the comments that it was a regular JL, that I was always wrong, and it was a 10 out of 10. Yeah,
just some JayMike haters, eh?
Yeah, no, I'm used to it, but I just had a good laugh at that. But yeah, I think it's great. I really enjoyed it. So
yeah, I would totally be down to do that. I think it'd be fun.
Sounds good. Giu. Oh man, I need to work on my naming. Boot Nerds Rock, thank you very much, my man. Any recommendations on Regular Cup Elite versus made in Japan? Giu Liu. I mean, get the Japans if you can, right? I would say if you can.
I tried the Elite model a long time ago.
And
I'm just having a hard time remembering.
Yeah, I tried the Elite Regular Cups as well, and they're fine. I just think that the Japans are significantly better, and especially if you can find them at reduced prices now because they're a little bit old.
Yeah,
I think it would be worth going for. Go get the Japans. But if you can, go get the Regular 3s instead. They're better.
Yeah, Rebula 3 is definitely better, and I know you're higher on Rebula Cup than I am. I don't love that boot for whatever reason. To me, if you want leather and memory foam, I still think Nike Tiempo is the way to go.
I know, but you're also you're returning a little bit to your like Tiempo religiousness.
I like the Tiempo.
Like I'm getting vibes of like Tiempo Legend 5 Josh coming back. So Slow and
No,
steady, but he's coming
I think
back.
Legend 9 is a great boot.
I agree. I agree with you. It's a solid boot, but I just like he's coming back. He's been in there all the time, and he's coming back out.
I don't know. I think recommending a Rebula Cup over a Tiempo is just it's a common JL.
Wow. Wow. Having this. Chris Rico.
Set yourself up for that one.
I wonder if the elite version of the Alphas are just as good. And those of you who have tried the Alpha Elites, let us know in the comments, because none of us can genuinely say. We don't.
Yeah, I don't know yet.
We don't know. But I've heard good things. I've heard that they are basically the same, but without the carvo so it's just like the normal Neo tooling, which sounds flipping awesome for €200. I mean, take my money.
Yeah. And I will say, out of everything from the Elites that I've tried, other than the Rebula Cup that I can't seem to remember, they've all been good.
Yes.
Like, I've not tried a bad one yet.
Yes, maybe the Rebula Cup Elite was brilliant, and you actually just erased it from your mind because you couldn't deal with the fact that it was indeed better than the Legend.
Yeah, it's probably what happened.
Yeah, exactly what happened. Also, we should just bring that up while we're doing this, because why not? So I sent Josh a text. I was going through last year's, or was it one of the previous years of rating colorways, your Nike ID colorways, and we came across this design that was triple red, and that was a winner. I think actually it was the highest rated, Josh's favorite of the bunch, triple red. And then he saw an even better triple red, and he dipped me over. Just thought I wanted to mention it.
Jay, opinions change.
Apparently so. But yeah. Common JL, huh? On the Nike ID boots, how long did they take to come in? Asks Wacky. For me,
yours were quicker than mine.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, you were. I want to say you were 4 weeks, Jay.
Maybe 4 weeks.
Because I think I was 6.
6 weeks.
Yeah, and yours, and we ordered, I think, on the same day.
We did,
if I'm not mistaken.
Well, maybe I ordered the day before, but I don't think it really mattered.
Yeah, you might have been.
Yeah, I think we agreed on ordering on one day, anyways. And then same weekend. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think it would have mattered. They're not making boots on the weekend anyway. So yeah. Kian Bensend, Jay and Josh. What is up? Can you guys comment on the durability of the AG variation of the Vapors? I looked into buying a pair and want to do it for the Nike by You. But I've seen boatloads of cracked sole plates on product reviews on Unisport. So yeah, what's up? I don't know how much you've worn your AG Vapors of this new generation. I have worn mine to bits. Like I've worn them so much. And I haven't experienced any cracked toolings yet. So maybe I should just keep counting my blessings, but you know, for me it hasn't been a problem. But I can also I also read the product reviews on Unisport. I can see that there are problems. But me personally, I haven't experienced any, knock on wood, yet. So, don't know. Have you?
Yeah, I can't say I've spent a significant amount of time in AG Mercs.
Fair enough. So I guess that's a no.
I am always hesitant. I'm sure the Unisport customers leaving reviews are honest, and they know what they're doing, and I'm sure they're using the boots exactly the way that they were intended to be used. Absolutely. But I am always hesitant to go off of customer reviews on any website. And look, there's a warranty from Nike. If that happens, they should replace them for you. I just don't see why the AG version would be any different than an FG version. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that plastic sole plates cracking regularly is a thing. I just haven't seen that happening very frequently.
Me neither. And I haven't seen it either. So I would be surprised. Of course, we can't guarantee that it won't happen, but I haven't had any issues.
And again, durability is one of those things. We've talked about this I don't know how many times. You can't predict it. You can't. No. And we can't really review products on the basis of like, oh, this is how long we think they're going to last.
No way.
And even if he did, even if we both said, okay, starting 2023, we're going to pick one pair of boots and we're going to wear them for 6 months straight, and that's it. And we're going to give a long-term durability test.
Differently, you slide your foot across the ground differently. Like I wore back when Joel and I ordered Nike ID Hypervenom ones, same size. We mixed it. It was beautiful. His pair ripped within like a quarter of a year, and I still have mine because he just slides his foot whenever he kicks. So they just ripped open.
It's different. Yeah, if me and you took the same boots right now and wore them for 6 months, they would wear differently.
Absolutely.
Yours might break, mine not.
Yes.
It's just how it is.
That exactly. So
it's a guess.
Yeah, it is, and it's a gamble, but that's what warranty is there for.
Yeah, and again, that's kind of part of what you pay for from a big brand is the safety blanket of warranty.
Exactly. So I would be okay to go and buy a pair of Nike by you, AG Vegas, as long as you make sure to do it in the best available colorway on the interwebs right now, which is, according to your good friend Josh, triple red.
Red on red on red.
The internet never forgets, my man. The internet never forgets. And this is not something I should be going into because there's probably a ton of stuff where I contradict myself on the internet as well. So,
yes, but you have the benefit of the unlikeliness of me going back and doing research to call you out.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great.
So.
That's great. Let's not get the Josh army doing that because that would be unpleasant. So let's remain friends there, okay? I just thought it was a funny little thing. I didn't go look for it. I just came across it randomly and so ooh, I'll text you. But hey, guys, we're rambling here. 2022. This is it. Which also means that this was the final episode of the Bootnerds podcast, at least in the format that you know it. Obviously, we'll be back. I don't know when, but we will be back. So make sure you're still tuned into the channel. Check it regularly. Subscribe with notifications on. I mean, there's not gonna be many notifications necessarily, but they will be there. And it's been a privilege, an honor, a pleasure. I've loved doing these. And it's thank you so much. It's been a ride. It's been a great ride.
We really appreciate all of your support.
Exactly. And of course, at least from my side, Josh and I are still going to be friends. So we're still going to be, there's going to be stuff happening, right? But yeah, time and resources just means that right now it's going to be a change. But guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful 2023. Have a wonderful new year. Take care of each other. Be the best version of yourself. And with those words, I've been JayMike. And for the last time, for now, I approve this message.
Thanks for watching and listening. You made it so depressing, Jay.
It's a depressing moment.
You made it seem like we're never gonna come back.
Well, we are gonna come back.
It just won't be every week. That's all.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to make it a little bit dramatic so that whenever we do come back, people are just gonna be, oh my god, the OG, the goats are back, man.
Goats.
I have to.
I do not endorse calling ourselves the goats.
No.
All right.
Anyway,
and that's episode 151. Thanks for watching.
Guys. See you later, guys. Not next week, but see you in a little bit. Later.